For more on the fallout now from the Supreme Court's decision on climate, former senior EPA official Mustafa Santiago Ali joins me now. Thanks so much for being with us. In your experience within the EPA, were you surprised to see this ruling from the High Court? And do you think the agency even saw it coming?
I think that folks did see it possibly coming, but of course, folks were hopeful that they would not make the decision that they did because of the impacts of that said decision.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about the communities that are most at risk here of feeling the effects of climate change, and how soon will this ruling impact them?
Well, the impacts will happen for everyone across our country, but in particular, we know that communities of color, African-American communities, Latin communities, indigenous brothers and sisters are the ones who are going to be hit first and worst by these sets of actions. We also know that we've got 200,000 to 300,000 people who are dying prematurely from air pollution every year. And we also know that through these actions that the court did, that they are accelerating the climate crisis, which will make most folks have to deal with more hurricanes, wildfires, extreme heat events, and floods.
I want to expand on that a little bit, because I don't know if people make the connection. Why does the climate crisis impact some communities more than others? I'd imagine in some cases it's just pure geography.
It is geography, but you have to unpack that. You know, because of our policies in the past, whether we're talking about restrictive covenants or redlining or how we zone, we've placed a number of folks of color and lower wealth communities in certain areas, and then we disinvested in those areas, therefore making them more vulnerable to many of the things that we see currently going on. They are also, in many instances, in the footprint of the fossil fuel facilities, and they get the toxic emissions that are going on. So there are double and triple whammies that happen for our most vulnerable communities continually, and that's why we have to act to make sure that they are protected and that they have the resources they need to navigate the decision that came out of the Supreme Court.
So in the wake of that ruling, now a lot of this is left up to the states and the cities. So I'm wondering, how can states and cities work together to protect the environment? And also, what tools does the president have left, if any, to really make a difference here?
Well, the president still has those tools in place that, you know, we can make sure that we are addressing sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, mercury, particulate matters. Those also play a role in what's happening with the climate crisis and the impacts in our most vulnerable communities. We can also make sure that we are making the investments that states so desperately need and that cities so desperately need. Cities in the last administration played a critical role in continuing to move forward, even when the federal government refused to under the last presidential administration. And then last, but most definitely not least, we need to make sure that Congress moves forward on strong climate action and a bill that actually moves that $550 billion that's sitting there on Capitol Hill that can help us to address the climate crisis, that can also create a new economy that's filled with millions of jobs. And we can also make sure that we are protecting our most vulnerable communities. We can do that if we choose to.
You know, speaking of Congress, I'm wondering how important it is that voters make climate change their #1 priority, because it seems like it's got nixed down a few notches for folks.
Well, you raise an excellent point. We have got to get engaged in the civic process. In the civic process, we can play a stronger role in the judges that are a part of both district and federal court systems. We can also make sure that resources are going the right way. And we also have, you know, additional powers. And understand this, when it comes to Black and brown communities, when we survey them, they score the highest on these issues being of great concern. So as these types of actions continue from the Supreme Court, I'm sure that you will see it begin to continue to be in the top 3 or 4 issues as we move forward.
All right, former senior EPA official Mustafa Santiago Ali, thank you.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.